Hey everyone, David Szafranski here, your host with the Christmas edition. Ho, ho, ho. And I'm not talking about my first three girlfriends. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that, but yeah, I did. Um, I did. I did it. It's the week before Christmas. Hopefully, you have some gifts bought if you're a husband for your wife. I talked to somebody today who said, I'm not going to have a lot bought. I said, you have nothing bought, do you? He said, no, I don't. So I encouraged him to go to the store and do the right thing. 1-800-344-2534. You can call here at any time. You can email Corey. I'm pretty sure those things are running beneath me right now. And call, and if you want to dialogue with us, you don't ever have to invest here. I want to make this 100% clear. If you said, hey, I just want somebody to take a look at my portfolio, there's going to be no pressure to invest here. We probably don't even want your money, to be honest. So, yeah. But if you wanted to, you could call here and you could talk to us, run investment ideas behind us. Of course, if you say, am I doing the right thing? We need a little bit more information to make sure that we're giving you good advice. We're fiduciaries and we want to act in your best interest at all times. But if you didn't know where to turn to ask a question, this is a good place because you're not going to be harangued to invest here. Missions trip. We're doing a missions trip in March. You can't go on it. You're not allowed. I'm not letting you. It's full. Totally full. We got big plans for this one. It's going to be a great trip. Taking a dentist with us. Going to pull some teeth in the jungle. I got a new Starlink that's going with me. The Performance Kit. It's super duper special looper. But if you want to go on another trip, you can call here and you can get information about that. You can also go to Nativos USA.org. We have a new website. You can go there and look at it. It's a lot more functional. I like it a lot better. And we're going to put the giving buttons on there. We have our own 501c3 now, and you can give to that if you want to support the trip, which I encourage you to do. The one thing that I like about short-term missions trip, and this is a short-term missions trip, it's 11 days from the time you take off to the time you land at home. It gives you a chance to give back. It's kind of high movement thing because we have a truncated amount of time, but you get back to real life relatively quickly, and you're giving. You're creating some real positive change for somebody that would never have had fresh water to drink if we're digging a well that time. On this trip, we're not digging a well by design for a variety of reasons, but we will be going back to dig wells in the future. And if you want to be part of it, that's great. If you want to just come and pray and be part of that trip too, in that way, you say, well, Dave, I've heard you talk about carrying sandbags that weigh 100 pounds. You don't have to do that. You don't have to carry that stuff. I do that. I consider it a challenge to be able to do it. I'm 45-ish now, and I want to be able to do it forever. I'm going to wear my body out for the gospel, and it'll probably be there because you're on the equator. It's hot. It feels like you're way closer to the sun. You're on the fat part of the planet, I guess, right? You are closer to the sun, so it's heat's very direct. We take precautions for things like that, but just so you know, you can go on other trips. You can support it. You can be part of it. We got a big contingent going this time, and it's a great church that we're taking with us. So, there's been a lot of talk about affordability lately, and the president gave an address last night about talking about inflation and how bad the economy was when they took over. Now, I want you to know something. Every president says that. So every president from a different party, when they take over, will say the exact same thing, that we inherited a mess and we're fixing it and we're getting closer, but it takes time. But I want to tell you something that I truly believe. In this case, it is 100% true. If you remember, the Biden administration created 9.5% to 10% inflation, even higher in some other areas. And while we went from like 9.5% to 4.5% relatively quickly, those prices were still high. So it's the growth in prices that start to come down. prices didn't come down. The growth in prices was still rising. It was just rising at a slower pace, higher than normal, but it's still rising. So when Trump took the Oval Office, that was still happening 100%. And that has not changed. Prices, prices went up and prices stayed up. Inflation isn't a measure of where prices are at compared to last year. They're a measure of how high prices are continuing to rise. So I guess they are a measure against last year, but still rising. In order for prices to fall, you would have to have deflation. And we don't want deflation. In fact, I'm going to talk about it in a second, but there are some prices we don't want to come down, but I have the solution for it. And it's a good solution, and it works. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. But I don't want you to forget that Dems have been talking smack about how high prices are under the Trump economy. They're the ones who caused it. They're hoping you don't remember. They're hoping you're not paying attention. They're hoping you're a moron, like one of their voters. That's who they're hoping you are. But we're not that. Okay? We understand that the prices rose, they stayed high. Trump came in and he's trying to fix it. So what is it, when we talk about affordability, what is hard to afford right now? And why is it taking prices so long to go back? So my wife was baking Christmas cookies, and I was coming home from a meeting. It was like 10 o'clock, 9:45, and she says, "Hey, will you stop at the store and pick up some Hershey Kisses?" And I got to admit, I thought for a second about pretending like I didn't see the text because I didn't want to stop at the store. It was one of those really cold nights. It's not. Okay, I'll do it. So I go to this local store and I get a small bag of Hershey Kisses and I look at the price. $7 for a small bag of Hershey Kisses. She needed 2. I get them. I went to Costco the other day to buy steaks for Christmas. I decided not to because it was too far away. 4 ribeyes, $125. That's expensive. Coffee was expensive. It's still kind of expensive, but going down in price. We took the tariffs off of coffee, bananas. Groceries in general, expensive. Those prices are the prices that Donald Trump inherited. They're going up still because inflation is still above target. But mind you, when inflation is at target, it's somewhere around 2% or a little bit less. So prices are still going to go up. Okay? And my question to you is this: are there prices that are high that we don't want to come down? And I have 2 questions for you. What prices do we want to come down, and how does that happen? So that's 3 questions. So there's 3 questions. Are there prices that are high that we don't want to come down? What prices do we want to come down, and how does that happen? Well, let me go over the first one first, and I'm glad you asked. Are there prices that we don't want to come down? And the answer is yes. We don't want housing prices to drop. That would be deflationary. Think if you bought a house last year and the prices dropped by 10%. Guess what? You're never moving. Because if you sell that house, you're going to have to go to the bank with a check. And people don't want to do that. They do not want to do that. They want to make money off of their houses. So I want to tell you that there's a way out of this. Now, what are the prices that we want to come down? We want energy prices to come down. We want grocery prices to come down. And how does that happen? Energy prices come down. Energy is the tail that wags the dog. Undeniably. You think about grapes. And I don't know why I thought about grapes, but I'm thinking about grapes. They got to get to the store somehow. Plane, train, truck, whatever. Nobody's walking them to the store. That is part of the cost of the grapes. And if energy prices are lower, the cost of the grapes are lower. So number one thing that the Trump administration has to focus on is lowering energy prices, which they have done to a large degree. I got gas the other day for my pickup truck it was like $2.32. That's pretty cheap gas. And natural gas is coming back down. So energy prices are coming down. That will help the inflationary impact dramatically. So what do we really need to happen to solve affordability issues? When we talk about, so we say, well, it's hard to go to the grocery store, it's expensive, it's hard to do this, it's expensive, it's hard to go on vacation, flights are expensive, we're going to get energy prices down. What do we really need to do? What we really need to do is have our incomes grow. Now, I want to remind you, during the Biden administration, 2 extremely large contracts came up for renegotiation. One was the UPS contract. We know people that work for UPS that wouldn't retire until that contract was out because they knew how good it was going to be. And that was very detrimental to UPS as a company. It was expensive. It codified inflation. Now we want incomes to go up, but we want productivity to outpace it. So if you get paid more, it's because you're making more. The GM contract came up too. Same thing happened there. Unions negotiating with unions, and the wage hikes were astronomical. Are they making more? Are they doing more? I'll let you decide. What we really want to see is incomes rise because productivity is rising. That's what needs to happen. That's where the Trump administration is focusing on. And we had the Federal Reserve was raising rates in the Biden administration it's faster than they've ever done, and that did get inflation from 9 to 4, and it continued to fall a little bit after that because you're slowing down the economy. And now we're at like 2.7, and we need to get to 2 or lower. Some things are going to happen. They take time to happen. You want to raise incomes so your income is more than the price hikes. That's what really has to happen. That's where the Trump administration is focusing on. And I like that. I think that's where they should focus. It's more of a supply side economics. It's not Keynesian where we throw money at everything. We say, look, let's let the government get out of the way. Let's cut regulations so business can expand and hire more people. And then wages go up. Productivity goes up. Technological advances create increases in productivity. So you're making this much more, but you're getting paid this much more. That's a fair trade. So productivity goes up. In the first Trump administration, we couldn't create inflation. We were trying, and we couldn't do it. We want to get back to those days because a little bit of inflation kind of keeps the grease of the economy. It is the grease of the economy. It keeps the wheels in motion, so to speak. And if you have your choice between inflation and deflation, you choose inflation every time because you can inflate your way out of debt. And governments love inflation. Government creates inflation. It's government spending that creates inflation. Private spending never creates inflation. It's always government spending. Dumping money into the economy that's already at a solid pace creates inflation. And that's what the Biden administration did. We were recovering out of COVID. We were still somewhat constrained, and they dumped trillions of dollars, and then were surprised by inflation. They said things like, it's transitory. It was never transitory. It was caused by them. So we're coming out of it right now, and affordability is going to be the key. Now, Corey has asked me to mention, by the way, if you've won something from us lately, we're waiting for a shipment to come in. It should be in by Monday, and your little prize would go out. And I just got some new things in. Should I give those away, Corey? Yeah? Okay, so if you'd like a tchotchke, I can't promise you what it's going to be. It might be a refrigerator magnet that says, I love stepped up basis, and you need this. Somebody was in my office today, and they said, I need one of those. I need it because I have them on the refrigerator in the office. So they got one. So there's one less. You might get a t-shirt, you might get a hat, but if you email Corey and just say, I want to grow wages, you're going to get a tchotchke. We'll give 5 away. If you won recently, give somebody else a chance. All right, Ben? You know who I'm talking about, Ben. Ben from Lakewood. Do you have any clothes aside from the clothes I send you? Are you wearing my shirts only? So if Ben from Lakewood emails in something. You're not winning this time. I know I'm going to get a phone call from Ben. I love Ben. He fed me when my wife was out of town one time, his family. It was really nice. And there's going to be a new Fed chair announced probably within the next couple of weeks, I would imagine. And it doesn't matter who it is. They're all going to be, people will say, well, Trump only wants somebody who's going to lower interest rates. Yes. Yes. The president is allowed to pick people that share his economic policy beliefs. It's what presidents do. They've all done it. But for some reason, when Trump does it, Trump only wants somebody who agrees with them. Now, you know what I love to be around? People who always disagree with me and are divisive. It just makes my day. Oh my gosh. I have a family member who basically parrots MSNBC to me. And they were talking smack recently, and I just said, listen, if I wanted to hear MSNBC, I would turn on the television. And I had to walk away. Yes, the president is going to pick somebody who shares his economic beliefs of lower interest rates. And by the way, he's right. Rates are too high. Rates are way too high. If you want to get an economy going, the Fed has two missions: price stability, which means low inflation and full employment. And they're screwing up both of them. So when Chair Powell leaves in May, it's not going to be a minute too soon. I do think he's going to lower interest rates one more time. It doesn't matter if he doesn't, because the guy coming behind him, although he's only one vote, he's got a lot of power to influence people. And so you are going to see a slightly lower interest rate regime. Now, I don't want to go back to zero or where we were in the midst of COVID, because we don't need to go back there, but we do. I think it would be beneficial for the economy to go lower. And of course, there's measure in everything that we do. But if you listen to the press, Donald Trump is going to start World War III when he lowers interest rates, or when he picks his Fed chairman, or when he picks a Supreme Court justice. This is what they do. They create the chaos and then say, look how chaotic Donald Trump is. Don't believe them. Don't fall for it. Don't be a lemming. Listen to people like me. And there's a lot of people like me out there. We're everywhere. We're not afraid to speak out. I don't care if people don't like me, by the way. Doesn't matter to me. I have mastered that emotion of wanting to be liked. It doesn't ever occur to me. I am David Szafranski, a guy who doesn't care to be liked. A real American, a true red-blooded gun-owning patriot, and the voice you can trust.